Hi, I'm Barbara Rimkunis, and this is your Exeter History Minute. Here's a fun little part of Exeter's history that I've been thinking a lot about lately. The creation of the Ground Observer Corps in 1955. It was part of the post-World War II civil defense program. The United States, of course, had used atomic bombs at the close of the war, killing over 100,000 people. But we didn't start getting scared until 1949, when the Soviet Union successfully tested their own bomb. Exeter began to plan for civil defense the following December. Reginald Stevenson, the local director, outlined the units of operation that would be needed. Fire, police, rescue, evacuation, transportation, and engineering were all well manned. But the big need would be for volunteers in the Ground Observer Group, headed by Lyman Collishaw. There'd been a Ground Observer Corps in Exeter during the war. Volunteers were stationed in the tower of the Robinson Female Seminary, spotting planes overhead. The advent of radar systems after the war alleviated much of the need during peacetime, but there were still gaps in the surveillance net that troubled the Air Force. It was decided to reactivate the Ground Observer Corps. The first few calls for volunteers in 1952 were a flop. Not enough people signed up. Then the Soviets successfully tested the H-bomb, an even bigger atomic bomb. Plans were made to build a new observer tower up on Prospect Hill by Exeter Hospital. The American Legion set to work, building it with donated materials. 100 people showed interest in the project, and 40 of them turned up to take the training course over the summer. The observation post went into full operation in August of 1955. Volunteers searched the skies for planes, calling them into the Manchester Filter Center. Until December, all aircraft were reported, but the telephone bill was so high the government cut back the reporting to just jet planes, multi-engine planes, and formations of planes. All the other planes were just entered into the logbook. Volunteers who served 20 hours or more were presented with a set of silver wings. In the presentation to the East Side Current Events Club, one of the members said, "The highlight of our watching has been one day last summer when we spotted 2 blimps at once." It's an almost Ewok-like approach, considering we were worried about thermonuclear destruction, don't you think? But we were doing something and just needed to take things seriously. The Air Force certainly appreciated the effort. It bought some time for a few years while the DEW line system was developed. That's Distant Early Warning, a series of radar stations stretching across the Arctic to detect incoming Soviet bombers. Once that went online in 1958, we didn't need the ground observers anymore. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, however, triggered a new scare. School children were taught to duck and cover, hiding under their desks until the blast was over. Fallout shelters were designated all around town, including here at the home of the Exeter Historical Society, which was the public library at the time. We still have our sign. People were encouraged to build their own home fallout shelters in the basement. Now, none of this would have worked. The basement here, for instance, has windows everywhere, and I just don't know what they plan to do about that. Anyway, if you were born after 1990 and you're suddenly wondering how we survived the crippling knowledge that the world might end at any moment, we did stuff like this. For more existential anxiety, or maybe some soothing stories about Dick the Firehorse, check our website at www.exeterhistory.org.
Dum dum, deedle dum dum, deedle dum dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He'd duck and cover, duck and cover.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
and you
and you
and you, duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover.